Good morning, dear students. In the earlier video, you have learned derivation of kinetic energy and how to find work done from Fx graph. In this video, you will learn work energy theorem and derivation of gravitational potential energy. Yes, the statement of work energy theorem is the net work done on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of the body. The net work done on a body is equal to change in kinetic energy of the body. In another way also we can define the work done by net force on a body is equal to the change in kinetic energy of the body. Yes, I want to explain the statement. Suppose we have a horizontal surface, a body is here, a body is here. Now force F1 is acting this way and force F2 is acting this way and force F3 is acting this way, and at the same time the body, while the three forces acting on the body is moving from here to here. So initial velocity is v1 and final velocity is v2. So here how do we find the net work done? So F1 is doing some work, F2 is doing some work and F3 is doing work. Net work done means we need to add the three works, W1 plus W2 plus W3. When you add all the works you will get net work done, right? So this net work done is equal to change in kinetic energy, that is KE2 final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy KE1. So KE2 means the mass of the body is m and final kinetic energy equal to half mv2 square, initial kinetic energy of m v1 square. Now we want to prove this one. This is a statement actually. The net work done on a body or the work done by net force on a body is equal to the change in kinetic energy of the body. This is a statement of work energy theorem. Now we want to prove it. Yeah, proof. Yes, to prove this work energy theorem, consider a body acted upon by a variable force as it moves from x1 to x2 as shown in figure below. Yes, so here we have a body. Already it is in motion with velocity v1 and the mass of the body is m and initial position is x1, and a force is acting and this force is not constant. It's a variable force. That means the force varies. It may decrease, it may increase. We are not telling that whether it is decreasing or increasing, but F is not constant. So as it moves from x1 to x2, so its velocity is changing and the final velocity we are calling it as v2. So let v1 and v2 are the initial and final velocities respectively. So initial velocity is v1 and final velocity is v2. So now we calculate total work done, then we show that the total work done is equal to change in kinetic energy of the body. So as a whole, whenever the body moves from x1 to x2, F is not constant. But when you take a small displacement, dx, for that small displacement force is constant na? So that force into that small displacement will get work done for the small displacement dx. Now we write work done for the small displacement dx bar. Let us calculate the work done as, we call it as dw. W is the total work done, dw means a very small work done. So how do we write? F bar dot dx bar. So magnitude of F into magnitude of dx into F into dx into cos 0 degrees. Why 0? Force and displacement both are in the same direction. So this can be written as F into dx. F into dx. So small work done equal to F into dx we can write. But what is our intention? Now we want to calculate the total work done. Total work done means, so we are applying force from here until the body is moving from x1 to x2. So total work done means, how do we do, guys? We do integration. So fdx is nothing but area of small strip. So we have to add area of many strips now. So that is nothing but we write integral dw. Integral dw or integral f dx, whatever you write, f dx. Now what is f, guys? We know according to Newton's second law, F is equal to, what is the formula we have? Mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. And A, what is A here? Instantaneous acceleration. This is instantaneous force. So mass into instantaneous acceleration. So for instantaneous acceleration, how do we write? dv by dt, and we have dx. In the next step, keep m as it is and keep dv as it is. Now bring this dt here. dx by dt. Dx by dt. What is dx by dt? Dx by dt represents instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. So in the next step, what we do is we write m. Now bring, instead of writing dx by dt, write v and write dv. So take m out of the integral. So take v dv. Now this is in terms of this integration in terms of velocity. So what is the initial velocity? Yeah, actually whenever we have x, whenever the function is in x, you are supposed to use the limits x1 and x2. But finally here the equation is becoming in terms of velocity. So initial velocity is v1, final velocity is v2. Now further do integration. Yeah, we will continue this integration. Now is equal to, work done is equal to. So integral v power how much is there? Integral x power n dx. So in the position of x we have v. So v power how much is there? 1. So v power 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1. Lower limit is v1, upper limit is v2. So m into v square by 2. v square by 2, v1 to v2. Now m, first we substitute v2 square. v2 square by 2 minus v1 square by 2. If we simplify this one, how does it look like? Half m v2 square, and this one v1 square by 2 into m, half m v1 square. So what is this, guys? This is, you can write it as KE2, that is final kinetic energy, and this is equal to initial kinetic energy. What is this one? We are calculating work done only, right? So work done is equal to, what are we getting? Final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. And see guys, here we are assuming that only one force is acting on this body, but whenever a body moves on a horizontal surface, there will be two more forces. One is gravitational force which acts downward direction, and the normal force which acts upward direction. But the work done by gravity and the work done by normal force both are zero, because gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement is along x-axis. So the angle between gravitational force and the displacement is 90. So according to scalar product, fx cos theta, right? So the angle between force and displacement is 90 degrees. So work done by gravity is 0. In the similar manner, normal force acts in the upward direction. So the angle between normal force and the displacement is again 90 degrees. So the work done by normal force also 0 in this case. So that's why we are not calculating work done by gravity and work done by normal force in this case. Only the applied force does work. So we are calculating work done by only applied force. So W is equal to, we are doing integration like this as the variable force is acting. So finally we are showing that work done is equal to final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. So this is the proof of work energy theorem. Yes. Now we define potential energy. Energy associated with position is called potential energy. We have already defined kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? The energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion is called kinetic energy. That means a body has energy due to its motion, then that energy is called as kinetic energy. In the similar manner, because of the position of the body possesses some energy, that energy is called potential energy. Yes, now we want to derive the equation for gravitational potential energy. Potential energy means, what will be the potential energy? We have many types of potential energy: gravitational potential energy, elastic potential energy, electrostatic potential energy, magnetic potential energy. In any case, the energy is associated with position only. So that's why all these energies are called potential energy. So the very first one here, gravitational potential energy. Now let us derive the general expression for gravitational potential energy. Yes, consider a freely falling body as shown in figure. Yes, we are taking a body which has mass m. Initially, it is at height y1 from the ground, and we are leaving it. So, because of gravitational force, what happens? It accelerates down, and it reaches certain height y2. So, it is falling from a height y1 to a height y2. So, what is the displacement here? Y1 minus, wait, I mean the distance from here to here. This value is y1 minus y2. Now, let us calculate the work done by gravity as it falls from y1 height to y2 height. The work done by gravity as the body falls from y1 height to y2 height. Now here I will write work done by which force? Gravitational force is equal to, what is the formula? It is a scalar product of force and displacement. So force and displacement. So here force acting downward direction, but the displacement of the body also acting in the downward direction. So magnitude of force into magnitude of displacement into, what is the angle between force and displacement here? 0 degrees. Magnitude of force, how much? mg. And what is the magnitude of the displacement? So actually displacement means we are supposed to take y2 minus y1, final height minus initial height, but when you take y2 minus y1 we will get negative value. Because y2 is less than y1 na? We are supposed to take magnitude of displacement. This should be positive. That means here we are supposed to take y1 minus y2. If we take y2 minus y1, it becomes negative. That's why we are taking it as y1 minus y2. Now if we simplify it, work done by gravity is equal to, what is the term we are getting? mg y1 minus mg y2. So what is the unit of work done by gravity? Joules. So what should be the unit of this quantity? Joules, right? What should be this quantity? Joules. Joules means energy. That means this term represents energy and this term also represents energy, isn't it? This term clearly represents energy. So in this term, what are the terms we have? Mass we have, and acceleration due to gravity g we have, and y1 position. That means this energy is associated with position, right? Clearly mg y1, mg y2. So mass, acceleration due to gravity, and we are getting a position term. So clearly the unit of this, the unit of work done by gravity must be joules. So the unit of this quantity and the unit of this quantity must be equal to joules. So this should represent energy, and this energy is associated with some position. So this energy is called as potential energy, and we have gravity, acceleration due to gravity term here. That's why this term represents gravitational potential energy. Now can we write a general expression for gravitational potential energy? So we have y1 and y2. So this is initial gravitational potential energy and this is final gravitational potential energy. Here the term mgy is called gravitational potential energy. Now we write a general expression for gravitational potential energy. We use a symbol U. U grav is equal to mg y, or in some books they also write mg h. Here we are taking in terms of y1 and y2. You can also take these values in terms of h1 and h2. So what is the general expression for gravitational potential energy? mg y or mg h. And from this equation, work done by gravity is equal to, here we can write like this, minus, from this equation only, first I write mg y2 minus mg y1. The same equation, if you take common, minus into minus, it becomes plus. So we will get plus mg y1 minus mg y2. So minus, what is this guys? This is gravitational potential energy, but final or initial? Final gravitational potential energy. What about this one? This represents initial gravitational potential energy. So I want to write this, the work done by gravity in terms of change in gravitational potential. Change in gravitational potential energy means final value minus initial value. But here we have initial value minus final value, right? That's why I'm taking minus common and I'm writing final value first, then initial value here. So here you can write minus delta U grav. That means, so what do we write here? Work done by gravity. This is the relationship between work done by gravity and change in gravitational potential energy. Work done by gravity is equal to the negative of change in gravitational potential energy. See guys, work done by gravity is equal to minus of, negative sign must be there, minus of change in gravitational potential energy. So this is the relationship between work done by gravity and change in gravitational potential energy. Yeah, here we are taking a freely falling body and we are showing like this. Work done by gravity equal to the negative of change in gravitational potential energy. So if you take a body which is projected vertically upward, in that case also like this we can take y1 and y2, and finally we can show that work done by gravity is equal to the negative of change in gravitational potential energy. Yes. Now we define conservative force. A force that offers the opportunity of two-way conversion between kinetic energy and potential energy is called a conservative force. So whenever a conservative force acts on a body, so kinetic energy is converted to potential energy and potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. So that type of forces are called conservative force. A good example is gravitational force. Now let us take an example. Now, so here this is the ground we have. Now project a ball with some initial velocity. So initially let's say it has kinetic energy 100 joules. So as it goes up, what happens? Because gravitational force acts downward direction, right? So because of this force, so mg acts downward direction. So because of this force, what happens is as it goes up, so its kinetic energy decreases. So here, what is the potential energy on the ground? 0 joules. So let's say the ball is moving from here to here and the kinetic energy, let's say it is becoming some 60 joules. Then what happens to the remaining 40 joules? The remaining 40 joules will be converted as 40 joules. It is a potential, it is the remaining 40 joules will be converted as potential energy. As it goes up its kinetic energy decreases and at maximum height, what happens to its kinetic energy? It becomes 0 and the potential energy becomes 100 joules. Potential energy becomes 100 joules. Now while it falls down, again kinetic energy decreases at some point here. Let's say kinetic energy is 20 joules. Then what about potential energy here? The potential energy will be 80 joules. But what about the overall energy, total energy? Total energy remains constant, that is 100 joules. But here initially we have only kinetic energy 100 joules, potential energy is 0. But as it moves up, what happens? Its kinetic energy decreases and potential energy increases. So this thing is happening because of gravitational force. So mg always acts downward direction. So because of this force, what's happening? As it goes up, kinetic energy is converted to potential energy, and as it falls down, so its potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. So here what's happening? Potential energy is converted to kinetic energy is converted to potential energy because of only one force, that is gravitational force. So here the gravitational force is called as a conservative force. Yes, now let us see the properties of work done by conservative force. So work done by conservative force has 3 properties. The first property is it can means the work done by conservative force can always be expressed as the difference between initial and final values of a potential energy function. Just now I told you what is a good example for conservative force? Gravitational force. Gravitational force is a good example for conservative force. So work done by gravitational force is equal, just now we got mgy1 minus mgy2. Just now we got this value. So this is the initial potential energy function, this is the final potential energy function. So the work done by a conservative force can always be expressed as the difference between initial and final values of a potential energy function. So initial value of potential energy and final value of potential energy. So the first property is the gravitational force is satisfying the first property, and the second property, it is independent of the path and depends only on the starting and ending point. Suppose here we have ground Now take a body. Now bring this body. This is the ground. It is initially vertically. It is at some certain height. Now bring the body like this from here to here. Now calculate work done. Let's say this height is h. This height is h. Now what is the work done by gravity from here to here? Mg, force acts downward direction, and h, displacement is also in the downward direction. So work done from here to here, that work done is mgh. Mg is the force which is acting downward direction, and h is the displacement. Whatever the work done by gravity from here to here, gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement is in the direction, right? So what is the work done by gravity here? 0. Then what is the whole work done from here to here? Work done from here to here plus work done from here to here. Let's say the path is 1. So work done in path 1, in the whole path. What is the value we have? mgh. Now take the body, instead of like this, take the body like this. So the same body, bring the body in this manner. Now what is the work done? Work done by the gravitational force on the body. As the body moves from here to here, gravitational force acts downward direction, mg, but the displacement in this direction. So work done by gravity is 0. Because how do we calculate work done? Fs or Fd cos theta. If theta is equal to 90, so cos 90 becomes 0, so work done becomes 0. That's what happening here and here. So here also work done is 0. Then what about the work done from here to here? Gravitational force acts downward direction, and the displacement h is also in the downward direction. So here work done is mgh. And let's say this is the second path. So in the second path also, what is the work done? mgh. So that's what happening. See here, the work done by a conservative force is independent of the path and depends only on the starting and ending points. So in both cases, for the path 1 and path 2, initial point and final points are same, but we are following a different path. But what's happening in both cases, the work done is same. So what does it mean? Work done by gravitational force, it does not depend on path, it depends only on initial point and final point. So work done by gravitational force, it is also satisfying the second property. Now take the third property. So what is the third property? It is 0 along a closed path. 0 along a closed path means, again let us take ground here and take a body here and bring the body like this initially, then horizontally like this, then vertically like this, then bring to the same position. Closed path means it should start at some point and again it should come to the original place. So now let us calculate like this. From here to here, what is the work done? mgh. So mg is the force acting and h is the displacement. So both are in the same direction. So work done by gravity here is positive. From here to here, work done by gravity is 0, because gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement in the horizontal direction. But what about here? Gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement is in the upward direction, right? So what is the angle between force and displacement? 180. Cos of 180 minus 1. So here the work done by gravitational force is minus mgh. What about the work done from here to here? So displacement is this way, but gravitational force always acts downward direction. So work done by gravity is here 0. Now what about the whole work done in the closed path? So initially from here to here, mgh, here plus 0, and here minus mgh. From here to here, yes, closed path. Yes, for the third property, let us take the body here, and the body starting here, and again closed path means it is starting here and it is going like this, and again it is reaching its original position. So what is the work done by from here to here? Plus mgh, because gravitational force acts downward direction and the displacement is also in the downward direction. So work done by gravity is positive here, mgh plus mgh. What is the work done by gravity here? 0, because gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement is in x direction. So angle is 90 degrees, cos 90 becomes 0, so work done by gravity is 0 here. What about the work done by gravity from here to here? Gravitational force acts downward direction, but the displacement is in the upward direction. So the angle between force and displacement is 180, cos of 180 minus 1, so here the work done by gravity is minus mgh. The work done from here to here is 0, because displacement is this way and the gravitational force acts downward direction, so the angle between force and displacement is 90, so cos 90 is 0. Then what is the total work done in this whole path? Here total work done is equal total, so plus mgh from here to here, 0, from here to here minus mgh, from here to here 0. So plus mgh minus mgh gets cancelled, 0 0. Then what is the total work done? 0. So It is 0 means the work done by a conservative force is 0 along a closed path. So here work done by gravitational force is 0 along a closed path. No? That means, so gravitational force is a conservative force. Remember, a good example for conservative force is gravitational force. And and another example is force exerted by a spring. Force exerted by spring is also a conservative force that you will be learning in the upcoming classes. And a very important point to remember regarding this conservative force. Yes, the important point is when conservative forces only do work on a body, the total mechanical energy of the body remains constant. Total mechanical energy means the sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy. So, to prove this one, let us take an example. Let us take an example that is freely falling body. Freely falling body. Yes. So now here we have ground. Yes. So a body is falling down like this, and take this is the initial point. So at this point the body is at a height h1 above the ground, and it has speed v1, and after some time it is coming to a height h2, and the body is moving with speed v2. So this is the initial point we are taking, and this is the final point we are taking. So it is starting freely from a certain height. We are not showing that height. So after some time it is at a height h1 and the speed is v1, and after some more time the height is h2 and the speed is v2. Now can we calculate work done? Now we want to show that the total mechanical energy of the body remains constant. So work done by gravity. So which force is doing on the body here as it moves from here to here? So only gravitational force, right? So work done by gravity is equal to, according to work energy theorem, so that is Ke2 minus Ke1, Ke2 minus Ke1, final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. But just now we have proved that work done by gravitational force is equal to the negative of change of gravitational potential energy. That means, so minus of U grav is equal to Ke2 minus Ke1. So this can be written as minus of U grav 2 minus U grav 1. This is final gravitational potential energy. This is initial gravitational potential energy. And Ke2 minus Ke1. Just simplify it. So it becomes U grav 1 minus U grav 2 is equal to Ke2 minus Ke1. Now bring this Ke1 this side and bring this U grav 2 this side. So U grav 1 minus plus Ke1 is equal to, bring this U grav 2. U grav 2 plus Ke2. So this is the initial gravitational potential energy, and this is initial kinetic energy. This is final gravitational potential energy, and this is the final kinetic energy. So what are we proving here? Initial, the sum of these two things is called initial mechanical energy is equal to, what is this? The sum of these two things? Final mechanical energy. This thing happens whenever only conservative forces do work on the system or body. So it's the body is falling freely, right? So which force is acting on the body? Only gravitational force. We are taking only, we are neglecting air resistance. We are taking only gravitational force. So gravitational force only doing work on the body. So its mechanical energy is constant. That means final mechanical energy is equal to initial mechanical energy. Mechanical energy means it is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. So in this class, what did you learn? Derivation of work energy theorem and potential energy, derivation of gravitational potential energy, and we defined conservative force, and we also discussed properties of work done by conservative force. And finally we are proving that whenever only conservative forces doing work on a body, the total mechanical energy of the body remains constant. Now I want to show the solution of the homework given in the earlier video. Now I will show. Yes, this is the solution of the first problem. So a function, force as a function of position is given like this. So from the graph, first we take the graph by substituting x values, and then we'll get force values on y-axis. So we get points here, here, here and here and so on. Now we add all the points. Now we find the area. We find area here. So when we find area, we are getting 37.5, and we are doing integration. W equal to, as the force is not constant, it is varying, we do integration. And finally, when we see the work done between from 0 to 5 meters, and here also from 0 to 5 meters, we are getting the same value. From area we are getting 37.5. By doing integration also we are getting the same value, 37.5. And then the second question, the force as a function, like force as a function of position is given like this: F equal to 3x square plus 2x. So in this case it is not easy to draw graph, so that's why I asked you to do only integration. So W is equal to integral f dx from x equal to 2 to 5 meters. So first we write f value like this. So we have two things here. One is 3x square and 2x. For 3x square we do integration once and plus, and for 2x we do integration once. So individually we do, and we get individual value here and individual value we get here, and now we add these two values, and finally we get work done here, that is 138 joules. So here which formula are we using? Integral x power n dx is equal to x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. This is the formula we are using here. Suppose if there is any constant here, if there is some constant a, just we take a here, that's it. A means it's a real number. This way it's a number, that may be any number. So this is the solution of homework which given to you in the earlier class. Hope you understood these solutions.